the Knicks are going to send help even in areas they don't need to, because when Cat's on an island, they just don't trust him. So OG Anunoby is going to overhelp. Mikal Bridges is going to overhelp, one or the other, and then someone's always going to be open. I've already made 2 bets on this series, Matt.
Okay.
And this is not a betting show. We do betting content. This is not a betting show. But this is just a way to sort of look at the series. One of them is Knicks 2-1 after 3.
Okay.
The other one is Knicks in 6. I think the Pistons can get 2. And I think the Pistons, second time that happened. And I think the Pistons could get 1 of the first 2 games, and 1 of the games in Detroit. That's sort of the pathway. Like I've been telling people, like, I could really see this being 2-2 going into 5 and 6, and then the Knicks finish it off. But I think we come away from this series, like, I know the Pistons didn't have a ton of playoff experience, or really any. And this is a franchise that hasn't won a playoff game since the late 2000s. But this team, like, they feel like they have some juice. They have some toughness that I think is going to bother the Knicks. And it's just Cade. Cade is going to need some help. And I just don't think he'll have enough in this series. But I think we'll come away encouraged by Detroit, no less. You look like you're about to disagree with something.
No, I'm not, because I think it's interesting, because I wind up. This is where I kind of came down in the series.
Yeah,
I have no idea how the Knicks are going to slow down this Pistons. I did too. Pistons team. I have no idea how they're going to slow them down. Cade is such a bad matchup for them. He cooks everybody except Mikal Bridges. Everybody. Mikal does a really good job on him. And it's like, oh, he's too small. No, like, he actually is able to get into his handle, and Mikal's surprisingly strong. And he's actually, with the way that Cade plays, Mikal's a very good defender on him. Everybody else is barbecue. Everybody else. Josh Hart, Miles McBride in particular, gets destroyed by Cade.
He's going to post him up.
If you're switching, he hunts Jalen into oblivion. So you better send 2. And once you send 2, they're able to get what they want to, which is they're able to get to that corner 3-pointer for Beasley.
Yep.
Like, that's their second preferred shot, is like, we're going to blitz you. You're going to blitz Cade because he's so good. And we're going to generate either an open dunk under the rim if you stay home, or we're going to get now. I don't love Duren in the short roll trying to hit that pass. He's not great at it. You can do the elbow pass, the secondary assist with Tim Hardaway Jr. or whoever at the top, Asar, and then they can make that pass, that swing to the corner, and you wind up there. Now, if they stay like weak side, you got 2 shooters, right? Mikal or Malik in the corner for the 3, and Asar up top. If that's the spacing, they're going to try and get Tobias up there. If it's Asar, that corner man who's having to guard both of those may just be like, I'm staying home on Malik Beasley. Asar can shoot. And like, that's a pathway, right? But like, that's what you have to do. Hey, you have to blitz effectively. Don't let Cade get the edge on you, even if you blitz. Make sure that you cover the short roll. Oh, and you got to make sure that Asar is the only one open. It's a tough sequence, but it is a sequence that you can get to. Versus, I don't know, like, the Pistons are a better defense, but they don't have the personnel here. Jalen and Isaiah Stewart, unless they completely change how they guard things, are going to drop versus Cat, because when they've played up on him, he drives past them for and ones. Cat's good enough with the dribble with space for him to beat them off of the dribble and has the physicality. It's like Brandon Anderson's entire argument is like Cat's basically weak and going to get bullied by Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. Those guys are still young, and Cat is a much tougher, much older, much stronger player than he used to be. And so he drives consistently for those and ones. So what they do then is they're like, all right, don't give him that step, play back a step so you can absorb the contact. And then he's shooting threes. OG Anunoby, a lot of the other Pistons defenders on the wing are small. OG posts up Tobias and is able to get by him or body him. If it's Asar, he bodies him. If it's Beasley or Hardaway Jr., they body them. So they've got strength advantages with OG being able to work his way into whatever shots he wants. They don't have a lot of great screen defenders except for Asar, who's amazing. But if you're able to get Mikal Bridges switched, if you're able to get Asar switched off of him, right? If he takes the Cade assignment, or I'm sorry, the Brunson assignment, that now you're able to do things like, oh, we're going to run Mikal off a screen action with whoever's guarding him, and he's going to get clean pull-ups. The Knicks' whole offense is healthier in this matchup than the Pistons' offense is, even though both are very spry. This is going to be an over series. This is going to be a high-scoring series, because what it really comes down to is the Knicks are not good enough defensively with Brunson and Cat on the floor to stop or slow down the Pistons. But the Knicks inherently have too many weapons for Detroit, even with a better defense, to be able to make the impact on. Simone Fontecchio probably shouldn't play much in the series. He's not able to stay on the floor versus the various wings versus Wingstop. Just can't do it. So that takes out a significant piece of Detroit's offense. I like the Knicks here to take care of business, but I'm with you. I think it's going to take several games because I do think the Pistons take one of the first two in MSG.
The rebounding battle is going to be important to me. Neither team is top tier at rebounding, but what Detroit is really good at, and what the Knicks are good at as well, is keeping other teams off the glass. Per 100 possessions, Detroit allows the fourth fewest rebounds, and the Knicks allow the eighth fewest. The Knicks were actually much better in that regard until the last couple of weeks of the season. They were, I think, in the top 3 at one point in fewest rebounds allowed per 100 possessions. And that's going to be important because those second chance opportunities are going to matter, especially if the Knicks offense, or really if either offense just doesn't have it going any particular night. The Knicks did have, and this is something that the Pistons, I wonder if they watch closely, but toward the end of the season, Tuesday, where the Knicks played the Celtics, so this is a week ago, and they out-rebounded the Celtics by, I don't remember if it was 14, 15, something along those lines, and the Celtics started off the game 6 of 24 from 3, and then they made something like 15 of their last 25 threes, and they just mathed it up, and that was it. They still won the game in overtime despite giving up all those rebounds. And the Celtics aren't like an elite, they weren't an elite rebounding team that night. They're actually really good per 100 possessions, but you get the point. And with Detroit, I wonder if, one, they're not going to shoot the same way, but are they going to look at certain blueprints? Because one of the things that's really killed the Knicks all season is just overhelping. And this is why they give up open threes. And this is why teams are really good at shooting threes against them, is because Cat gets caught on an island. And then whoever has and this is why Jalen Duren, his passing is going to be important, but whoever the big is, whoever is in the situation where you have Cat in front of you, you have to hit that corner shooter, because the Knicks are going to send help even in areas they don't need to, because when Cat's on an island, they just don't trust him. So OG Anunoby is going to overhelp. Mikal Bridges is going to overhelp, one or the other. And then someone's always going to be open. The Bulls are really good at hitting this against the Knicks. The Thunder were doing it repeatedly, where they would hit like a Kobe White in the Chicago game. Oklahoma City, it could be any number of people, Isaiah Joe, whomever. And in this is where Malik Beasley, you talk about overs, he's going to be a guy that, threes leader, points, threes in general. We're talking he could have multiple games of 6, 7, 8 threes because of the way the Knicks play defense, and because they always seem like there's a stretch. There's always a big time 4 or 5 minute stretch where they're just constantly out of position. Tom Thibodeau gets pissed off. He calls a timeout, and it's just going to happen in this series.
So much of this is such a fun, an interesting psychological part of the NBA. Great defenses get bad once they don't have trust in one another. And that's the real key here. Is the Nuggets fall into this circumstance too, and they're not an elite defense, or they weren't an elite defense last year, but they were better. They were pretty good. They were top 10 last year in defense. And one of the problems is just when you don't trust your guys, you're constantly I gotta go help. And it's natural. You want to help. He's your brother. He's your teammate. You want to help him.
Right.
You can't do it, man. What you can't do is you can't surrender and a more efficient shot trying to shut down a bad matchup or try and prevent your teammate from being embarrassed or scored on. You can't. You've got to stay home. I'm hopeful that the Knicks will make the right decisions there and just be you're going to have to live with some stuff here. You're just going to have to live with it. You cannot constantly be saving Cat and Brunson in these situations, because you're going to wind up giving much more efficient shots. And that's how the Pistons can stay in this.
In 30 seconds or less, what does a Pistons win, a Pistons upset in this series look like? Because they're kind of a trendy upset pick for a bunch of people from what I'm seeing.
Jalen Duren becomes a big name that everyone's talking about how great of a game Jalen Duren has, because they're having to front so much to stop Cade from getting into the paint that Duren's dunking and passing and having really solid games. I think it looks a lot like Asar Thompson having a really quality game, making steals, transition plays, stuff like that, forcing turnovers, mistakes by the Knicks that wind up making them look small and outsized. That to me is the kind of the formula. The Pistons do need to play a very physical style. This Knicks team is a little bit finesse. It's wing stop, but it's also it's a very finesse team. And if they do bring a sense of physicality, I actually worry less about Cat as I do about Brunson. Brunson, you can body a little bit, you can bully him a little bit, and when that happens, he gets a little annoyed. The trick is you got to be able to stay out of foul trouble, and that I think is a complicating factor. So how the whistle goes, I think will determine this a lot. But the Pistons are live because I just think that Cade might be the best player in the series. And that's a big deal when we start getting into these. When it gets late in the series, the best guy often has the best chance of winning.
I would still say it's Brunson, but I would say that the Knicks have fewer answers for Cade than the Pistons do for Brunson. It's all about how this is officiated. Okay.